The bad news is nobody really cares. And what does that mean? Specifically, right now, we're going to talk about what kills intimacy within a relationship. Right? There's the feminine and then the masculine, which we've probably all heard of. And what kills the feminine is what's called the three U's. When a woman feels unsafe, unseen, and not understood, they're totally going to close down. They're not going to be able to be receptive and open. Literally, when they don't feel understood, and when they feel unsafe, and when they feel unseen, the solution to that is really just to give them attention, give them full presence all the time. Because the world is a scary, intense place, and they want that reassurance to understand that although there's chaos around the world and in their everyday life, when they come to you, you're like the mountain. So a good analogy here could be that they're like the weather, like a hurricane, super powerful, nothing can stop them. They're ferocious in their ability to create beauty and to wreak havoc. But where they actually get stuck is when they meet a mountain, right? When hurricanes and big weathers, they meet a mountain, they can't really do much. Because what that mountain is essentially doing is the antidote to the three U's. The mountain is, as a metaphor for the masculine, allowing the feminine to feel understood, to feel safe, and to feel seen. When those three things are accomplished, the feminine can then open, and then as soon as the feminine opens, they then have the ability to receive, not just physically, but also emotionally, mentally, and spiritually in that sense. These three are key, not just for the gentlemen, but for also the ladies to understand what is the feminine and how they can actually open up to receive in that way. The flip side is, what are the three keys that actually should be used as an antithesis to what shuts down intimacy for the masculine? So the masculine, the three C's are controlled, closed, and the last one, which really people get really stuck with, right? Because once you're controlled, once you feel like you don't have the ability to really express, that's where a lot of people tend to get stuck. It's criticized, closed, and controlled. Let me see which one that was. I've known the feminine one for a while, but the masculine one I just learned something recently. Right, so this is the idea. When you're criticized, closed, or controlled. When you're controlled, when you try to control a guy, he's going to totally just shut down. He's not going to be able to actually feel that he has that freedom, which is innate. You go to any guy and you say the word freedom, just see how they respond. They may not yell, they may not freak out, but freedom is really in our nature. Because for us, it's a tendency we have to want to just be so free. Of course, all humans have this craving, but for men, we have a different existence in the world as do women, and women have challenges that men don't have. So as we're going through that, we can't feel controlled, and the solution is to give freedom and to give love. We can't feel that you're being closed. The only reason that the feminine is actually closed is probably because the masculine isn't in the masculine healthily and created that space. But at the same time, even when we do that, it's the job of the feminine to be open. When we go to you guys and we're going to do something playful or goofy or weird, and we're trying to initiate a sexual encounter, when you guys are going to close that down, for us, we're thinking, wow, I was just vulnerable, which is a very difficult thing for men to do, as everybody knows. Some men can do it, most men can't. And when we're doing that and you shut us down, totally just cuts the game out, and we don't even want to play that game anymore. And the last is when we're being criticized. The last thing we want from the feminine, from our partner, is to have that, hey, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you? And then people can argue, oh, but it's good. You should, your woman should be pushing you, blah, blah, blah. No, guys don't want that. They don't want to feel pushed. The world's I want my partner to be criticizing me. I want that intimate part of my life to actually shift and have that person become a coach or to become someone. And the critique here is, of course, oh, well, can't you handle a strong woman? Can't you handle this? Can't you handle that? It's not that we can't. It's just that in intimacy, we don't want to. And if that makes us weak, then you can go somewhere else, because what's going to kill that polarity and that intimacy is, again, the polarity that's not existent, because we try to challenge our nature and we try to compete with someone else they're not working with the energy that we have. For example, you guys can even try this exercise when the natural state of human is to actually resist what's being forced upon us. Go to anyone you know in your life and just ask them, say, hey, do me a favor. Can you put your fist out like that? And when they do that, just walk over to them, get your fist, put it against their fist, and just push. You will see how you don't give them any instruction aside from putting out their fist, and you're going to notice that they're actually going to push back. Because what's happening in that moment is it's innate in their nature to push back against what's pushing with them. So they'll just receive it and go. But our nature is to resist what persists, right? If you resist, it will persist. And if you persist, it won't really resist as much, right? It works in tandem. So for the 3 U's and the 3 C's, for ladies, for the feminine, what kills intimacy is when they feel unseen, unsafe, and not understood. What kills intimacy for the gentleman, for the masculine, is when they feel criticized, closed, or controlled. Focus on those 3, implement it in your life, and just figure out, how can I actually serve the person that I want to connect with instead of trying to win? There's a saying that you can either win or you can be right. And there's some truth to that. But of course, it's not happy wife, happy life. It's not happy spouse, happy house. It's really you two on a team together, connecting, working together, and just understanding, I got to serve this person so much because I'm doing it not because I want to get, but because I'm a giver. When you go from the state of I'm going to give, not to get taken advantage of, but I'm going to give abundantly without expectation of reciprocity, you're going to be in abundance. As soon as it switches and you say, oh, actually, I'm going to only give to the extent that I get, which is natural in our states of mind, but you're not really building a relationship. It's not even a friendship. You're acting like a creditor. If you give to get back, you're just someone loaning something out. And if we really want real, true love and authenticity and intimacy and connection, it's going to be very difficult to build a foundation on a house of cards that's built with, I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. That's not really the unconditional love we crave. And the challenge is we all want unconditional love, but we only want to receive it. We rarely want to give it. Let me know what you think. Am I totally off my rocker? Do I not know anything? Curious to hear what you guys think. Subscribe, share, and until next time, cheers.